Fascism is not only a political ideology. It is primarily a specific psychology, a mental structure that seeks absolute certainty. What attracts the individual to this type of movement? The main answer is deep insecurity. The modern world is perceived as chaotic and threatening. The fascist seeks to flee freedom. According to Erich Fromm, freedom generates anxiety and responsibility. The totalitarian ideology relieves this burden. She offers simple answers to complex questions. Good versus evil. Doubt is eliminated in favor of blind faith.
The core of this psychology is authoritarianism,
A concept studied by Adorno and the Frankfurt School. The authoritarian personality is rigid. She exhibits absolute obedience to superiors and a violent contempt for subordinates or the weak. The individual does not want to be free, he wants to be led. He projects his own need for strength onto the leader. The leader becomes the all-powerful father figure. The cult of the leader is essential. He embodies the collective will and the mythical unity of the nation. To maintain this internal cohesion, an external enemy is needed. The central psychological mechanism is projection. One's own fears, failures, and hatreds are externalized. They are attributed to a designated scapegoat. The Jew, the immigrant, the intellectual, the internal traitor. This process creates moral relief. The individual is no longer responsible for his ills. Them who are the source of the suffering. The simplification of the world is achieved through a binary language, a polarizing and emotional rhetoric, which leaves no room for nuance or complexity. The goal of this rhetoric is dehumanization. If the enemy is not fully human, so the aggression and the cruelty are justified. They even become acts of moral purification. Individual identity dissolves into the group. The sense of belonging is immensely valued. It is a sanctuary against social isolation. Membership in the group gives an illusion of power. He shares the omnipotence of the movement. There is a fascination with violence and brute force. Violence is perceived as a sign of vitality and authenticity. It contrasts with the perceived softness of liberal societies. Psychologically, there is an intolerance to ambiguity. Life is lived as a constant war, where you must choose a side without hesitation. Critical thinking is perceived as a weakness. Doubt is considered treason. Ideology replaces independent thought. Fascist psychology needs myths and nostalgia. She creates an idealized and immaculate history, a lost golden age that must be restored. This myth justifies the urgency of present violent action. Emotion supplants factual reason. Frustration also plays a key role. Economic or social frustration is diverted. It is not directed against the real system, but projected onto the easy scapegoat. This psychology also feeds on resentment, the sense of being dispossessed or humiliated by history. This resentment is transformed into a thirst for collective revenge. How to counter this psychology? By the cultivation of complex thought, by tolerating and accepting the ambiguity of the world, through civic education and critical thinking. Learn to doubt overly simple answers, challenging self-proclaimed authorities, by encouraging empathy in the face of hate projection, by defending the individual against the dissolution of the group. Psychological maturity is the best defense, the acceptance of our own human imperfection. and the recognition of the inalienable value of the other. It is the antithesis of rigid and destructive certainty.